And didn't he also like sacrifice his family?
Well, you know that the story of Job is not written as a historical account. It's a story.
Yeah, but wasn't it in the Bible?
Yeah, but it's not the Bible's not all historical. It's literally written as a story to teach a moral principle. So it didn't actually happen. I don't believe the Bible is infallible or a literal history.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not a fundamentalist in that way.
Okay. Then like I would like to hear your arguments then like about.
Okay. Yes. So the reason I'm here today is to give what I think are the two best arguments for theism. I'm not necessarily arguing for any particular religion.
Okay. Yeah.
And the reason why that is because if you guys are atheists, and you said you are, talking Christianity with you, just like Alex O'Connor, it doesn't make any sense at all. Right. Because there's a gap between us, right?
That makes sense.
So not until we, at least, I was going to say, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not assume, but assume. I'll use assume. Until we can assume that there's a possibility of a God, those religions don't make sense. So I'm not having the religious conversation today necessarily.
Okay.
Some people have wanted to talk about it, and I'd be willing to do that. But with you guys, it's not atheism versus religion. It's atheism versus theism. Yeah. So the two strongest arguments that I've heard.
May I ask something?
Yeah. Go take the mic for me.
Yeah. Are we assuming that if arguments for theism are made, that proves that theism is reasonable? But does that prove that atheism is unreasonable?
Yes, I would say these arguments make theism more reasonable to believe.
Right. But do you believe that atheism is unreasonable because of that to believe in?
Does one being reasonable mean that the other is unreasonable?
Because you put on your sign that...
based on this argument, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the fine...
I'd love to hear the unreasonable part rather than one being reasonable.
Okay.
Yes, the reason why atheism is unreasonable, it's an argument called the teleological argument from fine-tuning. Have you heard of that before? It's essentially the idea modern science, atheist scientists, have confirmed that there are physical constants in the world. Did you guys see this list here?
Yeah.
Right.
So take a look at that, this one. And if these constants did not have literally the exact value that they have, and they don't change, that's why they're called constants, this universe would not be able to support life in any form or fashion. That's essentially what the argument is. And so that's the fine-tuning. It's a scientific fact that there's fine-tuning, is what they call it. The atheist essentially says random chance. Like, if there's no organizer, if you will, organizing these, then it has to be by chance, essentially.
Yeah.
The theist would say a divine being or an intelligent being, if you will, monkeyed with the physics to allow for life. Let me put this into perspective for you, and I'll give you two analogies.
Okay.
Here's these dials. Each one of these dials, these are all the fine constants. These are these, same thing.
Yeah.
Each one of them has, on average, 10 billion options, 10 billion possibilities. We find in our universe that they're all finely tuned, and if any of them were off even by one, and on average, 10 billion, 10 to the 10th power is 10 billion.
Yeah.
If I put a blindfold on and I started dialing these, and I got them all right, would you say it was more reasonable that I got lucky or that I cheated? Is it more reasonable to believe?
I would believe you cheated.
Okay, so that's what we're saying. That's why it's more reasonable to believe that an intelligent being changed the dials rather than random chance. Here's one more analogy for you. Okay. Let's say you left home this morning, you did your laundry, and you put your laundry in the dryer. Yeah. And you got home today, you open your dryer up, and all of your clothes are folded nicely on top of each other. Has that ever happened to you before?
Wait, what did you say?
Have you ever done your laundry and put it in the dryer and then opened it up and it was all folded nicely for you? And all your socks were together and it was just done for you?
No.
Me either. What are the odds that would happen? Or is it more likely that someone in your household went in and played a trick on you and did it for you? What's more reasonable to believe in that circumstance? Exactly. That's the theistic argument for this. That's all it is.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's actually two different arguments like atheists have for this. So one of them is like the multiverse theory, that the idea that there's like an infinite number of possible universes. Yeah. So the universe we're in it just happens to be one of the universes where life is possible, and where like the constants are exactly in the.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the wind. And like what do you call it? And the universe we're in right now, it just happens to be one of those universes where we got lucky, like one of those one in an infinite amount of universes where life can be possible.
Right. This is a very popular argument.
Yeah.
The major issue, there's two major issues with it. First argument against it is there any evidence for that whatsoever? Is there any evidence that there's a different universe out there?
I mean, there's an idea of parallel worlds, like in quantum mechanics.
String theory, but is there any evidence for it at all? Is there any empirical evidence?
Then I would ask, is there any evidence that a god created them, or any higher being?
This is it. This is it right here. It's either by chance or by design. That's the argument.
Right, but the explanation that my colleague here provided was an alternate explanation to the same constant, that we kind of just are one of many, right? But by chance, but by one of many. And even if it's not explicitly provided, there's no explicit proof that a creator created these either. The assumption that those constants were created by a creator is an inference based on the specificity.
Sure, and I'm asking, this is the evidence. I'm asking, what's the evidence for the multiverse? And, okay, that's my first rebuttal. Here's my second rebuttal to multiverse.
Yeah.
You're essentially saying that there is an infinite number of universes, right?
Sure.
Would that not imply that every possible universe does exist?
Yeah.
So there is a universe where God exists.
I mean, every possible universe where like the laws of physics are obeyed, I believe, would exist. And like a creator, right, like such as God, who based on like different religions' descriptions of him, he doesn't follow the laws.
I remember,
of physics.
I'm not arguing for a particular religion.
Yeah. No, I'm not arguing for a particular religion either. I'm just saying in general, right? For God to exist, that means that He created something out of nothing, right?
No, I don't believe God created something out of nothing. I believe material is eternal. Yeah, I'm not a traditional creationist in that sense. And it doesn't necessitate, theism doesn't necessitate creation out of nothing. Lots of people take that view, and I think it's very problematic.
Okay.
I'm just stuck on the fact that one explanation was the multiverse. And as you said, that doesn't have concrete proof for it. We have had theories about it.
But there's no evidence at all. It's not that there's no proof, there's no evidence.
Right, you're right.
And plus, by the way, the word universe means one. There's only one universe.
Multiverse is...
That's what I'm saying. The multiverse doesn't make any sense. Like, there is a universe. That means there's one.
I mean, I think the...
We don't call it the biverse, right? We call it the universe.
The multiverse argument is like assuming that there's a set of universes.
Would you agree, though, that you're kind of acting like a theologian? Like, when you have a problem, you kind of just make up a theory that doesn't have any evidence for it?
Okay.
Like, that's the major issue with multiverse, right?
I'm not accepting that... I'm not saying that the multiverse theory is the explanation for the constants. For all we know...
I mean, you can believe it. I don't think it's reasonable to believe in a multiverse, right?
I just think that when you are presented with multiple options to explain something as the specific constant, I think it's pretty reasonable to abstain from picking one explanation rather than waiting for one of the explanations to prove it.
So you just say we should not choose any. Why is that more reasonable than coming to... Because the thing about it like this, we all have to live our lives, right?
Yeah.
We all have to make decisions. I'm asking, with the information you have now, is it more reasonable to believe that there is a creator, a theist, intelligent mind, or is it more reasonable? Like if there's a bet that there's a 99% chance it's going to be this way and 0.01% chance this way, which one are you going to bet on? You're going to put your eggs in the 99%, right? Because you have to live your life. But you're putting your eggs in the 0.001% chance. I don't know why, knowing this. The other argument, can I give you the other argument?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's sidestep from fine-tuning. Let's put that aside.
Yeah.
Consciousness. Atheists are clear that in an atheistic worldview, consciousness cannot exist. They would call it an illusion, right? So if I asked you, are you conscious? Would you say yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not an atheist. Because if you were, you would say, technically, no, I'm not.
So how do you define consciousness?
Having a self, like being... Like something inherent in who you are rather than just being a meat computer.
But why can't it be constrained to your brain? Like, for example, right, when people, like, we all really know that different parts of our brain makes up different parts of our personalities.
That's what the atheistic argument is.
Yeah.
But they're saying it's not real.
But like, but I'm getting a bit confused.
Yes.
What exactly did you define consciousness as? Because you're just saying it's a self, right?
Yeah.
But
can I show you something here? I got some quotes here. These will be fun. These are from the greatest atheists who have spoken on it. You guys know Daniel Dennett?
No.
So Daniel Dennett, Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, you know those, Sam Harris.
Yeah.
They all agree. Let's see. Sorry, I have it right here. I need to find the one right here.
Yeah.
I mean, you can read through some of these if you'd like to. Let me show you the Daniel Dennett one because I think it's the best one. These are all unconscious. This one. He says, consciousness is an illusion, but a compelling one.
Yeah.
The idea that there's a self sitting in the theater of mind watching the unified stream of experience is a trick the brain plays on itself. It's a user illusion. So as long as you're willing to agree with him, one of the greatest atheists of our day, he's passed away, but... Right. But are you willing to say consciousness is an illusion?
No, I'm not. But I'm saying that, like, just because he's an atheist and I'm an atheist doesn't mean we have to have the exact same viewpoints on what consciousness is.
Okay, what is consciousness?
I feel like consciousness for me is like, it's like your sense of self, which can be explained by your brain. Like,
that's what he would say. He would agree with you. He would say it's just your brain playing a trick on you. Okay, can I ask you a question? Do you believe that there's always been a conscious being in existence? Was there ever a time
every human has been conscious?
Well, no, just like I don't know if you believe in like the Big Bang. Do you believe the universe was created from nothing?
Yeah.
Okay, how does something come from nothing?
Particle of matter.
Okay, so it was something.
Yeah.
Okay, and sorry, microphone.
Yeah.
Was that particle conscious?
No.
Okay, so my question is, how do you get consciousness from an unconscious thing? Like, can this produce consciousness?
No, it can't.
Okay, so how can a particle produce consciousness? Unless it's an illusion. If you want to buy that, I'm okay with that.
I mean, consciousness is really just a sense of self, right? Like saying that you know that you exist.
Yes.
Which can happen due to your neurons firing, giving you the thought of you.
That's what he's saying. And what I'm
saying
is
that an illusion? That's still like you, right? Like your chemicals are still real.
You still understand that you are a sense of self.
Well, this kind of bleeds into the idea that we have no free will. Do you believe you have free will?
I don't believe I have free will.
Okay, so you should be comfortable saying there's no consciousness, because if there's no free will, there's no consciousness. Assuming we came from particles. Does that make sense? Like, I think you'd be better off, to be honest, accepting this and just saying it is an illusion, I can't explain it. That's what all these guys say.
Problem is, I didn't get a good definition on what consciousness is yet. It's like asking if love is real when that love is made by chemicals in your brain, right? Those chemicals are still real.
Okay. I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem saying that our emotions are impacted by our physics or our chemicals in our brain. I don't have an issue with that. I'm saying like who you like there's like something inherent in you that's more than meat, essentially.
Oh, so that's what right. I didn't get that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, then I don't believe, like, if that's your definition of consciousness.
Okay, so you'd agree with him.
Yeah, I agree with him.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
The part about being stupid, my arguments are, you have to say their consciousness is an illusion, which I think most people would disagree with. You have to say there's no free will, which most people would disagree with.
Yeah.
You have to say there's no basis for or justification for morality, which most people would say is not true. Is that it? That might be the three. No, there's one other one.
Yeah.
Morality, free will, consciousness, and I can't remember what the other one is. Why am I spacing? I haven't talked about it. Purpose.
Yeah.
Most people are not nihilists. Most people have purpose in their lives. But the atheism, if you don't have free will, you don't choose your purpose, or you don't choose what you do. You're reacting to the chemicals in your brain. So you get nihilism.
Yeah.
So that's what it is: consciousness, morality, free will, and nihilism.
Yeah.
But those are not arguments. Those are implications of atheism.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, purpose. Do you think that not having a purpose is... Or, sorry, do you think that atheism causes people to...
Atheism, if atheism is true, we have no free will.
Okay.
And if you have no free will, there is no actual purpose to life. Like, there's no inherent purpose. Like, you're just living out. You're a domino in the stack of dominoes for the existence of reality, and you're going to do what you're going to do based on things that you can't control.
Yeah.
And so there's no purpose in that, essentially. And I'm saying, if you look at the world, I think there is an argument against that. If you look at the world, it does look like we have purpose. It does look like we choose, doesn't it?
So what do you believe our purpose is?
That gets into the religious conversation.
Yeah.
And if you want to have that conversation, I'd be willing to, but I'd ask you to grant theism while we talk about it.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, so let me talk.
No, just on the domino argument.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll believe that we're a set of dominoes on...
Like, we're not actually choosing.
Right. But when a domino falls, it's pushed over by another one. But if you, as the domino, didn't fall, then the next one wouldn't fall either.
Right.
So you still have a purpose, a necessity to be there.
But the issue, the thing is, the domino's not choosing to fall. It's falling because it was caused to fall. That's the argument. So you can't not fall. That's the argument.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's no free will in that sense.
Right.
But I do think that not having free will doesn't imply that you don't have a purpose.
What is purpose in a world with no free will?
purpose is a functionality. Your impact on the world, the things you change, the things
But you're not choosing it, though, right? Like, do you believe in free will?
No.
Okay, so like
everything has some external cause besides you just yourself.
I'm trying to think of an analogy of like, if something happens randomly, was it intended to perform that action, or it just happened because it was caused, right? So that's not a purpose, it's random. In atheism, everything is truly random, essentially, is what they would say, right? So the purpose cannot exist in a random world. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it just naturally leads to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I'm like, me and him have a different viewpoint on this. I don't believe that humans have an inherent purpose. I still feel like I'm like an optimistic nihilist. So I believe that like it's up to you to choose.
But you don't have any free will.
No, you don't have any free will to choose, right? Like no, the thing is so I believe that as far as we can know, right, we have free will, but our free will can be explained by external factors, because I can still choose to touch this box, but my choice for touching this box can be explained by external factors.
Yeah, that's atheism. Yeah, I would, on an atheistic worldview, I'd agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said like to grant you theism, and you're going to talk about why we have an inherent purpose.
Oh yeah. So if you'd be willing to grant theism, I lean towards the Christian tradition.
Sure.
So I think our purpose, if you will, is to become perfected, and that happens through Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, right, I'll grant theism a thing, right? So instead of two things which can explain our behavior, three things do: our genetics, our environment, and if you believe in theism, there's a soul usually. And I don't know if you heard Alex O'Connor's argument for this, but so you know propositional logic, right? Like P can't be both P and not P.
Yes.
So let's set P to determinism, right?
Yes.
Is the soul deterministic? If it's not deterministic, then it's random, and you can't choose.
No, it's only random if we were created from nothing. I believe
God
our souls
created us, right? So
no, He didn't create us from nothing, though. I believe all souls, if you want to call it that, are eternal.
Eternal.
Yeah.
Okay.
God organized us and gave us an opportunity to gain physical bodies, as far as the matter that we're concerned about. But I believe that all people are eternal.
But didn't God create us out of His image? Like in the Garden of Eden?
As far as what our physical bodies look like, yes. But what I'm saying is we've all existed in some form eternally with God.
But doesn't the Bible say that God created the world as we know it? He said, let there be light.
Yeah, but the word bara in Hebrew means organized. Doesn't mean create from nothing. The creation ex nihilo tradition came later. Ancient Jews, the ones who wrote the Old Testament, didn't believe in creation ex nihilo. So that's a giant flaw in the traditional Christian worldview. Okay. So yeah, I'd agree. It's a good argument, but it doesn't apply to me. Interesting. Alex O'Connor, he critiques what we call creedal Christianity, which has a lot of issues because of the early creeds of Christianity, and he points those out, and we actually agree with him. One of those, for example, is like the problem of suffering. We were just talking about it, that if God's all good and He created everything from nothing, and He's unbound and all powerful and He knows the future, why are bad things happening? Like, like Adam and Eve, right, in the garden, why didn't He just create an Adam and Eve that would have stayed in the garden and been happy? Yeah. But He created an Adam and Eve that we're going to leave and cause this, and this world sucks. Yeah. So He's rightfully criticizing that creedal tradition understanding of Christianity, which I reject.
So you believe that the souls are eternal, right?
Yes.
And nothing created the souls?
I would say fundamentally we've existed as something. The word I would use is intelligence. Okay. I'm not claiming to know the form of that or what that looks like, but it's a conscious being. I'm actually more of a panpsychist, which means that there's consciousness in everything. That's kind of my take. Okay. But we as individuals existed as an intelligence. In my theology, God gave us spirit bodies, which were made of material but different than maybe what we experience today. And then He gave us an opportunity to insert that spirit body into a physical body made by our biological parents. So then my question is, right, if we all had the same starting point, we all have like well, there's no starting point. We've existed forever. We existed forever, right? Yeah. But like, was there any differences in our soul back then, or did we only gain difference once we got to create a physical body? That's a debated topic amongst my group of theologians or wannabe theologians. Yeah. My faith. Some people think so. I think so. I think not all intelligences are equal. I think some have different capacities than others.
Sure.
As a panpsychist, for example, if all matter has existed forever, right? Because when I say God doesn't create from nothing, that means he has to pull from somewhere.
Yeah.
So matter's existed forever. This is one way to think about it. I'm not trying to get too down into the weeds, but like, for example, this, whatever material or consciousness this is, theoretically might have been less intelligent or less, have less capacity than a human, for example. I believe those that had the capability to have fulfill a certain threshold of capacity to become like God became humans. So does that make sense? So we all were different
from like the very beginning. Not beginning, but eternally.
Eternally, we could be different. I'd be okay being argued the other way. I don't. Yeah.
So there's like a threshold to like.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Yes.
So then I have a question. Then.
Yeah.
Then we didn't really have a choice, right? We were always different, right? So, for example, one person who does like evil actions, right? It could be explained by three things we can't control. Okay. One, like our soul, we can't will what we want to will, right? Like you're saying that our soul always wanted, always had this capacity for bad, some more than others, right?
I would say capacity to choose, and then as humans, this is getting into the weeds. As humans, we have the capacity to choose evil, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of the consent that we gave when we came here in my theology. Anyway, God basically said, hey, you've progressed as far as you can progress as a spirit, if you will. You've came from an intelligence to a spirit.
Sure.
And then now, if you want to become like me, I personally believe God has a physical body. Ontologically, we're the same as God, is what I would say. And so he said, if you want to become like me, you have to go through this process. You have to enter into this unjust world where bad things can happen.
Yeah.
And we consented, essentially. So we made the choice to come here. And some of us choose evil. Sometimes God may intervene, and other times he may not intervene. And I don't have a great explanation for when he can and when he can't. But it seems, if my theology is true, that he's able to.
So then my question is, right, a lot of what determines us being bad and good, right, is you could tie it back down to our brain and our environment. Like, for example, most serial killers were either psychopaths or had traumatic childhoods, right?
Sure, we can be impacted for sure.
So we didn't really have the free choice to choose. Like, for example, there was a case study of a 12-year-old boy. He was actually a good kid, right? Up until he had an accident which messed with his head.
Okay.
And after that, he started doing more violent. He started doing more violent things. His grades became worse.
Okay.
And he started Okay.
I don't have an issue saying that our free will can be impacted by our biology, right? Because you're limited to your mortal body. I don't have an issue saying that at all.
So then, do we really have a free will? Because let's say, let's grant that the soul gives us free will, right? That lets us pick and choose.
Okay, but remember, you're pulling atheism.
Yeah.
Right. So we're arguing religion, and so you're going back to atheism.
No,
versus
I'm granting the idea of a soul, right? I'm saying I'm saying that you could pick and choose, right?
Okay. Yeah, you can override your biology.
But the options, right? You're able to pick and choose is both determined by your environment and.
We're limited. We can't do whatever we want.
So then, why are we all judged equally then?
Okay, so now you're still arguing on the creedal Christianity. There are Christians who will say, if you don't accept Jesus Christ, even if you've never heard of him, you're going to go to hell. I think that's an atrocity. I think that's what the creeds gave us, at least in that sense, in that category.
Yeah.
I believe we're all judged according to what we do with the knowledge that we have and the circumstances that we were put in, because we may have, and actually I don't know, some people in my faith believe that people maybe choose where they get born into. I don't believe that necessarily. I don't know how that works. We don't have any theology on that.
Yeah.
But I don't have any issue saying that it's not an issue, because we're only judged according to what we do with the knowledge that we have and given our circumstances. So, for example, the guy in North Korea who's never heard of Jesus and he dies, most mainstream Christians would say, well, he's in hell. And I would say, how is that fair? How is your God fair?
Yeah.
And so I would say that God essentially can give him an opportunity in the next life if he wasn't given it in this life.
But doesn't Jesus say the only way to heaven is through me, and you'll be cast down to hell if you don't believe in me?
Sure, but where did Jesus say that the last time you can accept him is before you die? Right? Creedal Christianity has so many issues, and you're highlighting them, and I think you should. I'm a Latter-day Saint. I'm a Mormon.
Yeah.
And we don't deal with all the issues that mainstream Christianity has. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions?
I feel like I was hogging them.
No, you're good. I love that concept.
Yeah. If you have anything else, otherwise I may talk to. You guys have been awesome, by the way. You're super. Remember your name?
Sid.
Sid?
Ravonth.
In Ravonth?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to talk about anything else?
Yeah. I was hogging.
Oh no, you're good.
Sorry, if you could use the microphone. You're good.
I was just still interested in the purpose argument.
Oh yeah.
Just because like going off your argument on free will, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much every choice that you make, I agree with Sid that there's like all the choice has factors that don't like give you the free will.
Causation.
Right.
Yes.
So like even when you do make a choice, there's factors that like were there from a long time ago that started that.
Yeah.
So, but I do think that there's no. Atheism isn't proven unreasonable because you don't have a purpose because of that.
Sorry, say that last line again.
I don't think the argument that no free will implies that there's no purpose.
Oh.
And that makes atheism unreasonable.
Yeah. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Like, I understand you're positing that, but like, what is the evidence for that? Like, how can you find purpose if you're making no choices? Like, how are you defining purpose? Maybe that's a better question.
I mean, like, I don't think you have to know your purpose to have a purpose.
You think you could create your own purpose?
Right. Or like you can
have a purpose without knowing it?
Yeah.
Okay, and what determines what that purpose is? Like, how are you defining purpose? We need to talk about that because I don't know maybe I don't know what you mean.
I guess I define purpose as impact and like function in the world.
I would
for example.
Okay, but under that I agree with you. If that's how you're defining purpose, you don't need free will to have a function in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say purpose necessitates free will because you have to be making choices to fulfill, to choose to use your agency, as we would say, to do something. But if you're just a domino, you are okay. You could say here. Maybe I'll try to steel man you. Maybe this is a good way to say it. Yeah. You are like each domino is fulfilling a purpose.
Yeah.
But the issue is it's randomness that's causing the dominoes to fall. So there's not an actual objective purpose. Like I'm trying to become like God, right? In my worldview, it's a goal.
That's your goal.
So, yeah. So like, what's the goal? What's your goal in life? Is it like repopulate? Like, what's your purpose? Not having free will in an atheistic worldview. What's your purpose?
I mean, I guess my goal in life would be to like have a family, take care of them.
Okay, but those are choices you want to make, right?
Right.
So, but you're not actually making those choices. So that's what I'm saying. There's no purpose in it.
Like, does that, like, I understand that those choices could have come from factors a long time ago, like, according to the no free will argument, right? But I'm just saying that a goal doesn't define your purpose. Like, whether or not I have that goal, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I didn't have a purpose, I guess.
Okay, let me ask this question. If there's no conscious being to observe the purpose, is there actually a purpose to it? Right? Because if we're not conscious, then can I show you this?
Yeah, I think I know the argument you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a name for it. I just came up with that in my head.
No, I heard the argument.
So just tell me if you agree or disagree. These are some of the greatest atheists. This is Bertrand Russell. Such an outline, even more purposeless, more void of meaning, is the world which science presents us for our belief. Mm-hmm. We are children of chaos, meaning randomness.
Yeah.
And the deep structure of change is decay. At root, there is only corruption and the unstemmable tide of chaos. Mm-hmm. Gone is purpose. All that is left is direction. Maybe that's what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. This is the bleakness we have to accept as we peer deeply and dispassionately into the heart of the universe on an atheistic worldview. Life has no meaning the moment you lose the illusion of the being eternal.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Man is useless, a useless passion. It is meaningless that we live and meaningless that we die. And the most famous Nietzsche, nihilism is as a psychological state will have to be reached, meaning necessarily first, when we have sought that meaning in all events is not there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So meaningless leads to a nihilistic worldview.
Yeah.
Right? These are going to fly away, so I'm going to grab them.
I agree. Like in the definition of
right, and I would agree with you. If I was an atheist, I'd agree. Mm-hmm. I think these guys are all being consistent and truthful and genuine, and I don't have any issue with that. Yeah, that's why. If
you're defining purpose as like something that you were created with,
will not create.
Initially have like some.
As far as this Earth is concerned,
right? Because the more science explains it, like kind of does like take away from that. I agree. Like those.
Well, I would disagree. I would say as science, that's why this is called the teleological argument. Teleology is the study of purpose.
Yeah.
Right, so this argument says we were created with purpose in mind from an intelligent being. So I would disagree that science means we're less purposeful.
Yeah.
I would say it makes it more because of this argument.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I'll say though that it could also just be survivorship bias, right? That like
that's the anthropic principle. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that doesn't explain the finely tuned.
I mean, it does, like, because you're saying that it's one in like how many?
10 billion?
10, yeah.
But here's the crazy part. Let me tell you this really quick.
Yeah.
See, if you do all this, if you want to get these all correctly randomly, the chance of doing that is 10 to the 200th power.
Yeah.
Do you know how many atoms there are in the observable universe?
Less than that.
10 to the 80th. So the chances of this happen randomly, if I showed you all the atoms of the entire observable universe, and I said you have to pick one, and only one will allow for life, you'd have to do that and then do it again. That's how crazy this is. That's why I say it's more reasonable to believe that somebody turned the dials, right?
But I'll say, like, for example, when you are born, right, the chances of your sperm making it to the egg are like really low as well, right? But you can't say like since this event was low, but it still happened. God created that. It could because like if you weren't there, you wouldn't be able to question it.
Okay, I agree with you, but well, let me make sure. I was gonna say the odds of becoming pregnant is way higher than this.
I mean, it's way higher,
right?
But it's still really low, right?
But that doesn't explain, like, maybe I'm misunderstanding your argument. You're saying because we exist,
we're able to think and question about it. If we weren't, if like any of these constants weren't there, right, we wouldn't be able to question it.
I agree, but it doesn't explain the constants. That's the issue.
Yeah, but like
right?
the chances of even if it's astronomically low, there's still a chance, right?
Still a chance for what? Sorry.
It's still a chance for the universe to exist and
randomly.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
I agree. I agree with that.
Do you know about quantum tunneling?
No, what I know about the quantum realm is that like it breaks down, physics break down at the quantum level.
So there's some theories, right, in physics that suggest that if with the right possible combination of quantum tunneling, particles can like interact with each other, which may lead to another. This is all theoretical, but there's like theories which suggest that if particles hit each other in the right way when they quantum tunnel, they might create a new Big Bang. So,
and is that a new universe or just within our universe?
No, like a new universe.
Oh, a new universe. Okay. Yeah, that's the multiverse, and I'm not convinced by it because there is no evidence for it at all. And it is funny to me that atheists who are like when they criticize Christianity in particular or a religion, they say, "Show me the empirical evidence for X, Y, Z," and the theist can't give it because I don't think it depends on how you define empirical evidence. But we don't have any empirical evidence that Jesus Christ rose from the dead, right? We use inferences from witnesses and from fruits and things like that.
Yeah.
But then when they're confronting the teleological argument, they say, well, fine-tuning, and I say, where's the empirical evidence? And they say, we have none. And I say, you sound like you're a theist, essentially, now. Like you're using a theistic argument to support atheism, and it's an argument that you criticize theists or religionists for using, so don't use it yourself is the argument, essentially. You guys are awesome. Super smart. I respect you.
Okay.
This is awesome. How old are you guys?
I'm 19.
That's crazy. I'm 30. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Keep thinking. I think more people need to think more deeply about this. And this is probably one of the best conversations I've ever had.
Yeah, and I'm glad that despite like being like, I know some people who are really into religion, right? Yeah. But they don't actually stop and like
think about it.
Yeah, think about it.
Most people are so blind on the religion side and on the atheist side.
Yeah. So I'm glad that like you like
we were able to talk.
and settle our differences.
Yeah.